What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to some more Littleroot laddering. So this week we are playing Mocha's Littleroot qualifier winning team with Weakness Policy Metagross, Leftovers Feeny, Lumberry Landorus. Huge fan of Lumberry Landorus. Focus Ash Spectre for Bulldoze, Weakness Policy Shenanigans on the Metagross, Light Clay Grimmsnarl so we can bulk up next to Moltres. I really like Life Orb Moltres right now as well, just because people have finally figured out how to play against Moltres is what it feels like. So being able to lower your own HP to where your opponent can then trigger your Berserk, especially because we do have access to screens next to Grimmsnarl and Fake Tears, so we can increase our damage output even more. I really like Moltres in this format, and I'm excited to see how this works next to, like, this one of the things, like, Moltres and Metagross is like, where's the weakness policy? Typically, it just depends on, like, what do you have on the team next to it that is able to trigger it. But, like, I mean, if you cut Spectre out of this team and, like, just put in, it, like, if you ignore Spectre and look at the other five, it's like, okay, Moltres or Metagross has the weakness policy. I really hope I call this correctly. And if you call it incorrectly, then you're going to get punished extremely hard. But, you know, the fact that we do have a way of triggering our own policy while lowering our opponent's speed with that Bulldoze is really great. I don't think I've actually played Spectre Metagross at all. So I'm interested in playing them together and seeing how well they work. But I love screens in this format. Grimmsnarl is just phenomenal. If you haven't watched the deep dive, back episode like 5, I think 4 or 5, Carl really goes in depth with what all Grimmsnarl can do, and the short answer is everything. So first up, we have weakness policy on either the Lapras or the Garchomp next to Comfey. We have Kartana, Rotom Heat, and Tornadus as well. So they have the speed control, but I honestly think that's fine because we also have a speed control option here with Spectrier. Grimmsnarl looks really appealing because we can Spirit Break into the Lapras if that's the weakness policy. Landorus looks pretty okay for Garchomp. I'm assuming it's policy on Lapras. I don't really anticipate having policy on Grimmsnarl. It's not something, not Grimmsnarl, Garchomp. It's not something you typically see. But I think Metagross Spectre looks pretty great up front here. I like the idea of Grimmsnarl in the back. Do I? I think I'd rather just have Landorus and Tapu Fini. Just give us solid answers to Garchomp if they bring it. Rotom. We're a little Kartana weak, but we do have Will-O-Wisp on Spectre, so that seems fine. And we have Intimidate for Landorus, so, like, we're going to be able to deal with it efficiently anyway. Yeah, I think this is great. I think this covers all of our bases. Of course, Tornadus folds to a ham sandwich, so not really worried about that one. Well, let's get into it. And if you haven't done so already, everyone, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications when new stuff goes live. Like and comment down below. I got nothing. I am terrible with the whole question comments and all that stuff. So, you know, whatever. So it's going to be Rotom plus Tornadus. I'm pretty okay with this, to be 100% honest. Am I? Not really. Rotom kind of bodies Metagross. So what if we go into Feeny here and we go for the Snarl? I just want to start chipping away at this now before it becomes a problem. I don't think they nasty plot here. They could nasty plot up in front of me. I'm presuming this is Tailwind. And could be Overheat into the Metagross, but I have a feeling it might be Tailwind nasty plot this turn. The fact that we dropped Rock Slide for Thunder Punch means that we have a worse matchup against exactly Rotom Heat. But they have Will-O-Wisp. But we missed the Rotom, which is what I really wanted to hit. I'm going to get the stat drop on the Tornadus. But that's not really what I cared about. This could be Thunderbolt coming out from the Rotom. Could switch to Kartana as well. See, now they have Will-O-Wisp. This makes me think this is more of a support role on the Rotom itself anyway. Now that we have Misty Terrain up, we could just go into Metagross again. But again, like, we don't really threaten the Rotom here. I think it's correct to go ahead and just protect this turn. And we'll fire off another Snarl. So opponent does stay in here. There's the Icy Wind. It's going to connect with the Spectre, going to lower our speed. Rotom should be faster anyway, so I'm not really worried about that, just because they do have Tailwind up. And there's a Thunderbolt into Feeny. Okay. We get that special attack drop on the Rotom now, so that's good for us. And I think with them going for Thunderbolt, I'm just going to switch to Landorus here. Could Shadow Ball into the Rotom to try to pick up a KO, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I have a feeling they have Lapras in the back. Probably Kartana if I was a betting man. So I think preserving Spectre seems really important. I'm going to continue to Snarl here. They could Will-O-Wisp or Landorus, but I'm fine with that because we do have... And it is Lapras coming out, so we're going to get a free Snarl into the Lapras, so that's good. Unfortunately, we just switched in Landorus into a Lapras, so that's not so good. But we can actually efficiently pivot here as well and go back into Feeny. Tornadus is going to protect. Pretty alright with that as well. And do we connect on the Lapras? We do. Okay. So now they have a -1 Lapras. I don't like the idea of maxing Landorus. So I'm just going to go back into Tapu Fini, anticipating the Resonance into it. I'm just going to Snarl again. I'm going to click Snarl until they threatened me. And so far, they have not done a efficient way of doing so. If we can take this Tornadus out before they get to set up a second Tailwind, that would be great. But that involves taking them out this turn, and I don't see that happening. There's the Icy Wind. Going to do approximately no damage. They're not going to max Lapras, which is good. I actually don't think that's good. I would rather them max sooner than later. Unfortunately, they do have Freeze Dry. I was hoping they would max and go for End's Life Orb. So that tells me that the Weakness Policy is on the Garchomp here. Their Tailwind should be over this turn. We're going to get a little bit of recovery. Their Tailwind is gone. We could Calm Mind this turn with Feeny. Could also go back into Metagross, but I think I like the idea of maxing Landorus in this game. Just so we have an efficient way of dealing with the Rotom. I like the idea of going for Calm Mind, especially now that Lapras is at -2. And I'm going to Shadow Ball into the Tornadus to pick up the KO on it, I think. They're actually going to withdraw the Tornadus, so they're not going to set up another Tailwind. At least not right now. Protect the Lapras. We get a free Shadow Ball into the Garchomp. Does a lot of damage, and we get a free Calm Mind. Okay. A little bit more leftovers recovery here. I could see them maxing Garchomp this turn. What's actually great about this is because the terrain is over, we could go for the Will-O-Wisp into the Garchomp, but Spectre is at -2 speed right now, so I would really want to... Like, we're slower than the Garchomp right now, is the big problem. So we could protect and switch into Landorus this turn. I think they max Garchomp this turn. So switching into Landorus is going to put them at -1, which seems ideal, especially if they do max. Could see a max Quake into that slot. Garchomp is not one to normally carry any form of like Dragon Stab, so I'm not really worried about going into the Landorus. They're going to bring back out Tornadus. And they're just going to protect Garchomp. Okay. So what's great about this is our Feeney's Protect fails, so we can actually protect this turn if we really needed to. Could also max Feeney. We are at +1. Like, we're at -1 speed, but Feeney, like, I don't really mind maxing here. Do I like it more than maxing Landorus? Could also just protect Feeney this turn and go back into Spectre, but because our Sash is broken, I don't feel entirely safe about that. Could just go for the Swords Dance this turn, but they have shown us Icy Wind. So what if we just Muddy Water this turn to pick up the KO on the Tornadus, and we go into Spectre. Garchomp is at -1. They're presumably going to... Okay, they're going to Dynamax. This is good. I feel like we're in an okay position because they are at -1 right now. So if they don't pick up the KO on the Spectre, then we can just pivot. We can either go for the Will-O-Wisp this turn, or we can just pivot back into Landorus and put them to -2. Yep, there's the Tailwind. Not surprised by that. And there's the Quake. Is this into... I'm assuming this is into Feeney, who takes that pretty okay, all things considered. We connect the Muddy Water on both. Not enough to pick up the KO on the Tornadus, but we do get the accuracy drop on the Garchomp. Could protect Feeney, go for the Will-O-Wisp, or we could just protect Feeney and switch back into... Actually, the play I really like is we could Starfall into the Garchomp and switch into Landorus. This puts them at -2. This will put them to -2. Because we're maxing, we should be able to live the max Quake. And with us being at +1, they're going to be at +2, but them at half HP, Starfall should take them out, I would think. I feel okay about this. Like, I'm kind of okay with just ignoring this Tornadus because, like, it's not really doing anything. Like, it's just sitting here being annoying, but, like, its annoyance isn't really accomplishing anything. Landorus is going to take an Icy Wind, which is not great, because it doesn't take it very well. They're going to Quake into the Spectre, but, uh-oh. Sorry. And because they don't get that Quake boost, they're actually going to go down. So that's pretty good. And now that we have Terrain back up, we are able to not get burnt from the Rotom if that comes out here. We know they have Rotom. We know they have Lapras. We know they can't Dynamax because they maxed the Garchomp. And it's going to be Rotom coming back out. I'm anticipating it to protect this turn, so I'm going to target down the Tornadus, which seems really bizarre. but I think it's the correct play, and I'm actually going to go into... Actually, no. I'm going to Geyser... I really want a Geyser, but I'm afraid Lapras is Water Absorb. And they're bringing out Rotom to bait me. I like taking out the Tornadus and going into Spectre this turn. I could see a Will-O-Wisp going into my Lander slot, which, because we switch, obviously we won't get burned. Feeny avoids, Spectre gets hit by the Icy Wind. Just whatever. They're going to Thunderbolt my Feeny, but we're at +1, so we take that all right. Our Starfall is enough to take out the Tornadus. Obviously, it's at like 10%. We're at +1 with Feeny, so we could Max Guard this next turn. We also just take another Thunderbolt. Problem is Feeny probably does not take a Thunderbolt plus Freeze Dry. So I'm actually going to Max Guard this turn, and I'm going to go for a Snarl to try to just lower their damage output here in the end game. This should be their last turn of Tailwind as well. Yeah, they correctly identify that Feeny's going to protect. Do they double? They do double into Spectre. Very nice read. Very nice read. But this should be their last turn of Tailwind, correct? Yeah, okay. So now Metagross can come out. We still have terrain up, so they can't Will-O-Wisp me. So now I can Thunder Punch into... the Lapras. I can't get burned. We'll go for the Muddy Water. I'm fine with Feeny going down because we have Metagross in the back still. Rotom's got a nasty plot. Okay, that's scary. But that means Feeny should get an attack off here. Ooh, not quite. Please live. That's really unfortunate. Lapras does go down to Life Orb. This is scary, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go for the Rock Slide. I guess we just go for Iron Head. I don't want to protect this turn because I think they read the Metagross protect. Oh, we get the flinch. Heck yeah, we get the flinch. They hold on, but that's kind of fine. It's kind of whatever. The fact that Landorus is faster is really good for us. The fact that we don't have a good way of hitting this accurately is not so great. Yeah, we'll just target it down. They can't take out both of our Mons this turn. We actually missed the Rock Slide. They do take Metagross out. Alright, it comes down to us hitting a Rock Slide. I believe, Landorus. I believe. Okay. Scary endgame there. Getting... The fact that Metagross wasn't able to take the Lapras out For them to then take the Feeney out was scary. I think we played that end game well. I think the only like true mistake that kind of cost us was max guarding with Feeney that turn. Had we gone for Geyser into the Rotom, like, that game is just over. Really, this seems fun. I'm enjoying this so far. But let's see if we can keep going. I didn't anticipate maxing Feeney when we first looked at this team, but I'll take it. So we have Feeney, Lando, Rillaboom, Metagross, Whimsicott, and Urshifu on their side. They don't really have a good Moltres answer. Like, Whimsicott's their best Moltres answer, so if we just Grimmsnarl plus Moltres, I feel pretty good about that. Landorus is pretty important, in my opinion, for the Rillaboom and their Landorus. I really like Metagross, too. Since they have Feeney, this is most likely Dark Urshifu, so Metagross doesn't line up particularly great there. I think I like Spectrier. I think I just like Grimmsnarl and Moltres up front here, and I like Spectrier or Landorus in the back. Try to get a burn off onto one of their Mons, and like just snarl down their Feeney if that like comes to it. Getting a burn on any of their 4 physical attackers seems really good for us. Being able to prevent them from... this is probably Assault Vest Metagross. Unless they're just, like, reliant on us going for... like, triggering their policy for them. Which, like, I would like to avoid if we can. Moltres does hit pretty hard, so we might be able to, regardless. It's going to be Metagross Landorus up front. I'm fine with this lead, I think. We can go for Reflect plus an Airstream into the Metagross. Also, Fake Tears plus Airstream. I mean, not the Metagross, the Landorus here. I like Reflect. I think they max the... Metagross here, so I like going for a Reflect. What is our more powerful move? They're both 130. And we will Airstream into the Landorus. I think this is safe. Alright, we're faster than their max if they do max here. Caw! I love Moltres. This thing is so fun. And there is the max, presumably from the Metagross. I can't imagine this is like a slower Landorus. Yeah, if there's a Metagross. I have a feeling they anticipated a Darkness into that slot this turn. I could also see Steel Spike into my Grimmsnarl, which I'm pretty okay with. If they Steel Spike, then I get to safely bring in Spectrier and go for... I did not know Landorus got Brutal Swing. That's really interesting. That's really interesting. Landorus is going to hold on, but we get the Airstream boost. We're going to reveal our Life Orb, and there's the Hailstorm. We should hold on behind Reflect. Barely, They're going to trigger Berserk. Now I have a +1 Moltres. Moltres is officially the fastest thing on the field. I wonder if Landorus goes down to Spirit Break here. I'm sure it does. And then we can go for a Darkness into the Metagross. I wonder if they max guard Metagross. It'd be kind of unfortunate. Yeah, there's the max guard. There's the Darkness. There's the Rock Slide, but it misses on Moltres, which is huge for us. And do approximately nothing to Grimmsnarl, and then Grimmsnarl gets to pick up the KO here. Well, not quite, but the Hail will. Alright, Landorus down. Potential problematic Mon number 1 eliminated. Okay. I don't feel terrible about how this has played out so far. This is probably Sucker Punch on Urshifu. So I'm going to Spirit Break the Urshifu. And I'm going to Max Guard this turn. Yep, there's a Sucker Punch. Not quite enough to take out the Urshifu, but it is really good damage. And there's a Steel Spike, presumably into Grimmsnarl to take us out. Well, this is pretty okay. Because now I get to bring in Spectrier, get the burn off. And because Moltres is still the fastest thing on the field, they could just try to Sucker Punch us again this turn. Could also just go in and Shadow Ball. I actually like that. I like just Shadow Balling this Metagross. Question is, what do I do with Moltres? Because I think they still try to Sucker Punch my Moltres. I could switch Moltres out. I think that might be the safest play, is we just Shadow Ball the Metagross and switch Moltres into Landorus. Get the Intimidate off into the Urshifu. And if they do go for the Sucker Punch here, then like they've effectively have done nothing for 2 turns. And this also lets us preserve Metagross. Moltres in the end game here as well. Metagross protects. Okay. There's a Sucker Punch. They actually Sucker Punch into Spectrier. But that is not enough to take us out. And even another one is not enough. So then this turn, I still like Shadow Ball the Metagross, I think. I kind of want a Swords Dance here. We know they have Hailstorm on Metagross, so I really need to play this optimally. I need to be able to take this Metagross out, I think. Good Rock Slide. That'll take out the Urshifu and potentially flinch the Metagross. I think this is fine. We could also have Will-O-Wisp the Metagross this turn to play around a potential flinch. Like, to play around a... Yeah, they're going to detect Urshifu. Okay. So we could have pretty easily got a Swords Dance off. Man, if we take this Whimsicott all out before like it sets Tailwind, that's huge for us. Yeah, that's in. No! No. Hail, come back, please. I need you. Alright, they definitely want a Wicked Blow now. The good thing is we have 3 mons that all threaten... threaten the Metagross here. So I think I'm okay with sacking off Moltres the most. And going for an Earthquake here. This will pick up the double KO. Yep, there's a Tailwind. It's kind of whatever. Wicked Blow. Where is this going? It is going to be in the Moltres. Okay. Hey, nice crit. And we do get the double. So that's fine. So now it is Metagross versus Spectrier and Landorus. Full HP Landorus. Sash is broken on the Spectrier. We know they have Protect. We know they have Ice Punch. We know they have Tailwind up. So there's a very good chance we just lose our Landorus this turn to Ice Punch. So I think the play to make is we Will-O-Wisp the Metagross to definitely cut off as much damage output from it as we can. And we go for a Rock Slide, I guess. I don't want an Earthquake next to my Spectrier. Spectrier is still faster. This is actually huge. I didn't expect Spectrier to be faster. Iron Head into Spectrier. Not going to do basically anything now. We miss. This is actually fine because now we can Shadow Ball. I'm actually okay going for a Sword Stance here because now Metagross doesn't threaten Landorus at all. Yeah. Yep. That was a good game. Definitely got played turn one because I didn't realize Landorus got Brutal Swing. It makes sense the other genies do, so why wouldn't Landorus as well? Wiki Berry, Feeny, pretty standard set there. AV on the Landorus. That explains why it lives the +1 Airstream. Man, that's a fast Landorus too. Yeah, max speed Landorus. Earthquake, Rock Slide, Fly, Brutal Swing. Okay. Miracle Seed. Yeah, nothing special on the Rillaboom. Ice Punch. Yeah, again, nothing overly exciting here. It is max attack, max HP. Pixie Plate. Does that mean... Yeah, the Sash is on the Urshifu. Interesting. And yeah, nothing overly exciting. I think that all those sets are pretty standard, so nothing too exciting there from our opponent. Pixie Plate Whimsicott's really interesting, but obviously I think I'd rather have Sash on it, but that means that you don't have Sash on Urshifu, and Koba's really bad, and I think you want Detect on Dark Urshifu for sure, so that kind of narrows it down pretty quickly. So we have Dusclops, Kingdra, Glastrier, Politoed, Grimmsnarl, and Rillaboom. So I like Moltres, I like Grimmsnarl up front here. This basically covers every lead that they could possibly have. If they lead Dusclops to be able to set up Trick Room, we have Taunt on Moltres. We have screens so we can reasonably prevent the damage output coming out from Kingdra. And I just don't see really anything on their team that threatens this lead. Backing that up, I want Metagross, and I think I want Landorus, just because I think between those two we threaten the Glastrier the most. And I think that's primarily going to be their Dynamax target here, and I need to be able to have a solidified answer for it. Moltres threatens the Rillaboom. Landorus also threatens Rillaboom pretty hard. I have a feeling they I like the idea from them going like Dusclops Politoed with Kingdra Glastrier in the back, because that means it, depending on what happens here on 1, you can either set Trick Room or go fast, depending on what we do. So if that is their lead, I think it's correct for us to... It's going to be Grimmsnarl Kingdra. Okay. Do they max their Kingdra here? Do I care if they max their Kingdra here? They set their own rain. Could go into Metagross to take the hit. I think Moltres actually takes this hit pretty okay. They probably fake out into my Grimmsnarl if they have it. Meaning, I think I just like Airstream into the Grimmsnarl, and I like going for a Light Screen here. If they switch Grimmsnarl out into Politoed, then they become faster, and I want to be able to keep up with them in the speed tier if I can. Next turn, we can go for like a Fake Tears plus Airstream, or Fake Tears plus Darkness into the Kingdra to take it out. So here is my big burb. Question is what do you do? They are going to max, presumably, Kingdra. It's been a very, very long time since I've seen a Dynamax Grimmsnarl, but I don't think this is a team that you do it for. Yep, there's the Kingdra. Probably setting rain. I wonder if they didn't bring Politoed. You can't Fake Tears by my Mon. Both of mine are Dark types. So thank you for that. So there's the Airstream. Almost enough to take out their Grimmsnarl. We're going to reveal our Life Orb, and they are going to Geyser, presumably into my Moltres, seeing how they went for the Fake Tears into it. But behind Light Screen, that's going to do approximately 0 damage. So I really want to take this Grimmsnarl out. But I really don't want to waste a turn of my Dynamax to do it. Especially since like their Fake Tears don't do anything now. So I'm just going to Darkness into the Kingdra. And I'm going to go for a Fake Tears into it as well. And just try to remove it before it becomes a problem here. I like Fake Tears Grimmsnarl on their team here. Like paired next to Kingdra, it makes a lot of sense. I wonder if they're Trick. If there's another Geyser, this time Rain boosted. Grimmsnarl takes that behind screens as well. But Kingdra unfortunately holds on. So we're going to get the special defense drop, which is whatever. I wonder if they Spirit Break here. Yep, they do. Which is going to be enough to put us below Berserk range. So this Spirit Break, I mean, it just did chip damage at that point. Seeing how we lower our special attack and then immediately raise it back. So I'm going to go for an Airstream. I'm going to go for a Spirit Break into the Grimmsnarl. I'm going to try to go for the double KO this turn. Grimmsnarl should take another Geyser, right? Yeah, they're going to max guard the Kingdra, which is fine. Unfortunately, that's where our Airstream went, and I kind of wanted that speed boost. But our Grimmsnarl is faster than theirs. But they're at so low HP that this Roselia Berry isn't going to do anything. Yep, there's the KO. Roselia Berry Grimmsnarl. Interesting. So who do you have to pair next to your Kingdra here? Because what we can do this turn is I have a feeling they're going to want to target down my Moltres, so I can protect plus go for... Ooh, nope. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to taunt that one, which means Dusclops is probably going to get a Trick Room up. Because this leaves Moltres open. Actually, we might live. It depends on if it's Scald or Hydro Pump. Could just Fiery Wrath and Fake Tears into the Dusclops. Hope for some miracle that we somehow live. Not getting that Airstream boost is really, really unfortunate because that means that the Kingdra still outspeeds us. So it might have been appropriate to Airstream, like double into the Grimmsnarl slot because the Grimmsnarl almost never will have Protect. They're actually going to withdraw Kingdra. They're going to bring in Politoed. Okay. I'm pretty okay with this, actually. Because now we get chip damage on the Politoed, and they don't threaten my Moltres. And that's just a clean one-hit KO on the Dusclops. Who needs to taunt it when we can just one-shot it? So we're up 4-2. They have a very damaged Kingdra. We have a very weak Grimmsnarl, very weak Moltres. And their Politoed's about 65% HP. I'm feeling alright about this. Seeing how we still have Metagross in the back. Probably not going to see Landorus this game if we can avoid it. Luckily, the rain should be running out next turn. Yeah, this is the last turn of rain. So we can actually protect Moltres this turn. And Spirit Break into the Kingdra. Do they have... We know they have Protect on Kingdra. Yeah, opponent concurs that this game is over as well. We hadn't revealed Protect, but we just go for Protect there. Get the rain turned off the next turn, and then Moltres goes back to outspeeding the Kingdra. Yeah. I mean, solid 3-0 game today. Like, I think we got to officially show off this team, and once again, the power of Life Orb Moltres is very, very good. The first game was extremely interesting. Lots of pivoting on both sides to eventually lead us to Dynamaxing Tapu Fini after a Calm Mind, and we just cleaned up from there. Opponent definitely played us in game one. The last turn of our Dynamax when we did Max Guard, we could have just attacked and sure they had Tailwind up, so they were faster than us, especially because Fini was at -2. But had they doubled into the Fini, then Spectre just gets a Snarl off. So I think, actually thinking about it, it makes sense that their play was to target down the Spectre, because if we get a Snarl off onto either of those Mons, that endgame just plays out completely differently and just so much easier for us. So, if we do, I think the correct way was just to Max Geyser into the Rotom and take it out, and let the Spectre go down to the... Well, yeah, it would still be a double up. The Lapras was still faster than Fini because they had Tailwind. So, really, really great games today. Excited to play this team the rest of this week as well. So, that's going to do it, everyone. Thank you so much. And like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later in this week. Have a good one. Peace.